We're gonna get off the WNBA and move on to some NBA and talk about some signings that have been going on around the league. One of the major signings, I mean, if you want to call it major, the Clippers have been making moves. The Clippers have been making moves. They signed Bradley Beal. They signed Brooke Lopez. They signed John Collins. The next person that they recently signed is the point guard himself, Chris Paul. So the Clippers signed Chris Paul to a 1 year, $3.6 million contract. How do y'all feel about this signing? Where does this rank the Clippers for you guys in the NBA, more so the Western Conference? Can the Clippers make a run at the championship with this roster? And this will likely be CP3's last season.
He said it
So
is.
do you think he deserves a farewell tour? And where does Chris Paul rank among top point guards in NBA history?
Ooh.
I know it's a lot of questions for y'all to think about, but let's start with you, Shaq. How
Oh,
you feel about this signing for the
shout
Clippers?
out to the Clippers. They got the. I feel like if you were an NBA fan of the 2010s, you would love the Clippers, man, because they got the NBA faithful. They got Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Brooke Lopez. Like, this is the retirement home for real, for real. But Chris Paul, I feel like it's a good locker room move for them. You know, James Harden and Chris Paul, they play together. Chris Paul, he I think he averaged like 7 or 8 assists last year for the Spurs.
He did. He
And
did.
yeah, so like he still can be a good point guard. I don't think he's gonna play crazy, but he could definitely be a good spark and a good locker room move. Um, Chris Paul all time, I gotta give him. I don't know. I don't honestly all time. He's definitely up there. He's definitely up there. I would say he's in that top 5 range. Is that crazy to say?
For point
Top in
guard,
that all time in
I'd
that top 5 range.
you talk about for point guards,
I'd
right?
have
Yeah,
to
point guards only. Point guards only.
I'd have to do some serious thinking of like point guards, but I was gonna put him like just without like off rip top 10 for me personally.
Yeah, yeah,
I'd
yeah.
have
I
to
think so.
think of more
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, Chris
I'd
Paul's
have to
top
think of
10.
more PGs, but I don't think that's crazy to say.
Yeah, like Paul, I say Paul, Chris Paul, like he's. I remember his days in when he was with the Hornets, that was crazy. That
Mhm.
was crazy. And then
He
when he
had
went to
some
the
bounce
Clippers,
to him too. He was a little
yeah,
I
athletic.
was
like
about,
he
he's
was
got
really
But one,
different. Like he was
he
really
was a
different,
I think
man.
he was the MVP conversations back then.
Yeah,
yeah, he
definitely,
was.
definitely, definitely. And like he's really like the last of like pure point guards, like
Yeah.
leaders, like on the court, like a coach on the court. Hall of Fame point guard. I like the move. I can't lie. I like the move.
Ahmad.
Yeah. This sounds like a great move on paper. I'm not convinced on it, like in theory. I'm not convinced on it in action though. I think we've seen the James Harden Chris Paul show before. Although they were very successful on the court, they did not fuck with each other. Like we saw James Harden and Chris Paul get into it on the bench. Chris Paul always trying to talk to somebody, and James Harden was not having that shit. I don't see this working out in that dynamic on the Clippers. Although we have an older James Harden, I still don't think he's trying to hear Chris Paul's mouth. Like, nigga, you ain't win shit. You can't really tell me nothing. Like, I feel like that's the kind of attitude that James Harden's gonna have. You mix that with a Bradley Bill, a Kawhi Leonard. I just think it's too much. There's too much tenure on that team, in my opinion. Too much ego on that team for them to be successful, in my opinion.
At 40, Chris Paul's 40 though, Ahmad. You think he's gonna
What
have
about
ego
it,
at 40?
bro? Chris Paul is always gonna have ego. Chris Paul is one of them people who just like you can just tell when he talks or interviews, he carries himself a certain way where like he has a lot of ego with his game. He thinks he knows everything. That's just what he gives to me when I look at him. So I think that's not gonna be a good locker room move. Although on paper it seems like it would, I don't think it's gonna be that good for locker room. And you combine it with Bradley Bill, but from the Clippers standpoint, what 3.6 mil? You really
Yeah.
can't beat that. So it's just last year, anyways. If it works, great. If it doesn't, they don't really lose that much money.
Do y'all think he gets a farewell tour?
I mean, he went to the Clippers. They better give him a farewell tour.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Like
think I'm gonna go see Chris Paul. I think I gotta see Chris Paul before he go.
to do
Like
what?
just to see him, just to see him, just to see him. Cause he might be on the bench the entire time I go whole time.
He's gonna play. He's
Yeah,
gonna
Nah,
play
he
like
going.
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah,
gonna
15 minutes.
You
I
think
can
he's
see
gonna be
playing
in the
15 to 20
rotation?
minutes. Yeah, definitely.
for sure. He's gonna lead that second squad for
Second
sure.
unit.
I don't know, bro. If he sees James Harden not moving without the ball, he's gonna be on his ass. He's just gonna be on everybody's ass. Pause.
Go ahead, Trev. How you feeling about this move?
Now,
Your rival team.
I think it's a good move for him. I like all the talent they have on the team. Like I said, we'll see if it meshes. I mean, I don't mind. Like I said, I think in a perfect world, how I think I would be running it is I would be having Chris Paul and Bradley Beal really run that second unit, and I think that's
Yeah.
what I mean. I feel like that alone is like a deep bench. You know what I mean? Like I feel like some of the players they have is like they got some good starters and they have a bench. You know what I mean? Like if you got Beal, Paul, and Brooke Lopez coming off the bench, I think that's pretty solid. You know what I mean?
Even at their age?
Even at their age, I think they can still ball. And I think Chris Paul's still efficient. You know what I mean? Like I don't think I don't think a player like Chris Paul loses his game like that.
No.
Obviously, he's not going to give you the 20 points tonight, but he's not going to be
He can still
playing.
give you. He can give
He's
you
not
dimes.
playing 35, 40 minutes anymore either. So I mean, he's still going to make the best play. You know what I mean? I think he can still shoot the ball. He's still got a midi.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, I think I like that team a little bit more now. I think all those guys being a little older, I think the egos might not be a big of an issue as we might think it is. And yeah, even if Chris Paul, is barking on players, I think that's just the competitor in him. You know what I mean? And like Ahmad said, like he's talking about Harden be like, nigga, you ain't won shit. It's like, nigga, you ain't won shit neither. You know what I mean? So like we all here losers, bro. So
Facts.
we all here
Facts.
losers. So let's try to make this shit work. You know what I mean? But it does look good on paper. I like them in the
It's
West.
really good on paper.
I like them in the West. I slightly like that team better than my own team. You know what I mean? Like how for what
Yo.
we've done and what we look like. I mean, we don't have a fucking bench at all. Like I can't. You know what I mean? I don't. Besides our starters, bro. Like what are we doing when those guys got to go to the bench? It's looking sad for us.
You
So, I
think the
mean,
Clippers top four in the West?
I give them top 4, top 5. I don't see.
Top four,
I
top
think
five.
I think if that team, the biggest thing is Kawhi. If Kawhi can stay healthy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
even
he's the
Harden,
biggest question mark.
and we know what Harden does in the regular season. It's always playoffs, shaky Harden in the playoffs. But if I think their regular season, I think they're definitely gonna be top 4, top 5 in the West for sure. And he'll get a farewell tour because he's back with the Clippers, and he's definitely a top 10 point guard. Not top 5. I'm trying to think of the Magic, Steph's.
Stockton.
Zeke.
Kid.
Me personally, give me Chris Paul over Stockton. I'll put Isaiah Thomas
Facts.
over Chris Paul. I don't
You
want
got
to
West.
go.
You got Westbrook or Chris Paul?
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
I'm going Chris Paul. If I'm taking Chris Paul, not taking anything away from Russ. I fuck with Russ, but if I'm point guard, give me Chris Paul. He's probably like 5 or 6. He's probably 5 or 6.
Okay.
If I leave the old heads like Jerry West and Oscar Robertson out of it, he's definitely top 4. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I like the team. I like the move.
P, how you feeling about this move?
We'll see how it plays out. I got to give Chris Paul credit for like the way he's handled his career, because I mean he's done a good job of just being able to accept the fact that he's not that guy anymore, and just kind of he really. When I think of a leader of a team, Chris Paul is probably the number one guy I think of. I mean, you can look at. I mean, in the second half of his career, towards the end, after the Clippers, he on that Phoenix team, leader guy. He got him to the finals. They didn't get it done, but I mean, solid leader. That
First finals ever.
Under team when Shea was really like just starting out on a rookie. They were they made a playoff
Yeah,
run,
they made the playoffs.
and they did good. He did. I think he set up that Thunder team greatly.
He turned that Oklahoma City Thunder
I
team.
don't remember. He
did.
Yeah, he did magic for that team. And I think if even with San Antonio, he did a good job. Kind of, we'll have to see because their future's still playing out. he might have done wonders for Wemby. Wemby might come out in this next season 25, maybe 25, 10, and 10 with like 3 or 4 blocks. I mean, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. And I think he probably was even a great leader, mentor for Stephon Castle. And like, even though they weren't their past kind of like cross for a little bit, even De'Aaron Fox. I mean, I got to give Chris Paul a ton of credit as a leader and being able to just take it on the chin that you're not that guy anymore. But how can you affect the team and make the team better? I got to give Chris Paul credit for that. We'll have to see how it does with the Clippers. I mean, I think Ahmad mentioned him and Harden having some issues. I think they're both mature enough now in their career. Hopefully that's not a problem. Have to see. I don't think they'd run together a ton anyways. I think Chris Paul is going to run with that bench unit, give them some spark and help keep them in games where their bench is needed. And just I give him like I mentioned earlier, I give him like a top 10 PG. He's a North Carolina legend, Wake Forest legend. Got to give Chris Paul credit.
I like that. Just to put my little 2 cents in real quick before we move on to the next topic. I like this move for the Clippers. I feel like Shaq was joking, but it is kind of like the retirement home. But all these guys have like great experience. They've all been on different teams. Some of those guys have been number 1 options on other teams. You know what I mean? But Chris Paul's only there to play like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, lead that second unit. Sometimes if James Harden comes out, you could put Chris Paul in. We might see a Chris Paul Kawhi lineup with Zubats. You know what I'm saying? I like that. He can run the pick and roll as well. With Zoo, Chris Paul is a great point guard. One of the last few pure point guards in the league. We see a bunch of combo guards nowadays, like your Shays, like who's another combo guard? I can't think. Yeah, Luke.
Yeah.
Halliburton.
Halliburton. Well,
hey, you give Halliburton more of a pure
yeah,
PP.
Yeah. Halliburton's a pure guard, but
Yeah.
it is a crop that's left. Like we don't see that Chris Paul, Rondo, no more. You know what I'm saying? Those are like pure point guards.
Yeah.
From back in the day, we don't see that. But
It's funny you mentioned those 2 players.
Let's also not forget too that the Clippers have Ty Lue as a coach, and I think when you have a great coach
Excellent
too,
coach.
Ooh,
I think
excellent
you
coach.
might get a little bit more respect for the players, and the players might, they play different for different coaches. You know what I mean? So I think everyone there knows. You got Ty Lue, you got a championship coach. I think he can handle that squad and make that shit work. You know what I mean?
Also, bro, I'm over this experience shit too. We always talking about experience, but at the same time, Harden has had experience. He's lost. Kawhi has had crazy experience. He lost.
He's got 2 championships, bro.
He's won.
I know, but I'm saying like
he won one by himself.
I'm saying like last year though on the Clippers, like where the fuck did that experience go? I thought experience was gonna help him out. That shit was nowhere to be found. Chris Paul, don't get me started on Chris Paul because when we needed his experience on the Warriors, he was nowhere to be found.
You're salty, bro. You're salty.
I'm just saying, I'm tired of this.
I forgot Chris Paul was on the Warriors.
I'm tired of this experience thing, bro. Like, it just some players it matters for, some players it don't.
We're not doing that, y'all. Ain't with him on the Warriors. That's your man's fault that y'all didn't do good that year, bro. Don't put that on Chris Paul. Chris Paul was coming off the bench, bro. Like, what you want Chris Paul to do?
Bro, he was average. Bro, he was
38.
I wanted to act like Chris Paul. I wanted to act like the height that we give him is due. He's over here like I thought he was going to be
back end of his career, bro.
Bro, I'm not giving you that. How he was like what 30,
38.
He was like, he was old.
Yeah, he could have done more than what he did, bro.
Bro, his 38 and Bron's 38.
His experience didn't show. His experience didn't show.
Anyways, we gonna move on.
I don't think that was his team to be a veteran.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
I mean, y'all already had Draymond. Y'all have Curry.
We know what Ahmad's doing.
Ahmad is.
I'm
serious,
bro.
Salty Ahmad, bro. But let's keep it moving. We're gonna move on to the other side